Hi guys, this is Tony here from Metal Roos. You're about to sit down and enjoy an interview I just did um, over there. And do like and subscribe so you can get all this straight into your streaming and into your consciousness as soon as it arrives. So enjoy the interview, and I will. Over to you, Tony. So hi, Jay from Ultimate Project Satan. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Very good. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm a big lover of local music. I'm a Canberran, just like yourself. And when this album came out, I'd listened to the songs that had previously been released from it, so I was really sort of like looking forward to the album coming out. And when they asked me, "Do you want to interview?" I went, "Yeah, like why not? Bloody hell, fantastic!" Um, I like to say on record, it is a screamer of an album. All right.
Thanks, man.
It really is. It has so much. I know people don't like to say this in metal, but it has so much soul, right? It's so deep. It's so broad that you got to go back many times to catch bits you might have missed before. That's
Yeah,
what I will
it's
say to anyone
definitely.
listen to this album. Go back many times because you won't get it in one hit.
No, there's definitely a lot of layers.
Yeah, yeah. So you're for those that don't know who you are, you're from the band is a sort of an amalgam of local Canberra bands, is that correct?
Yeah, so I run, co-manage Eschtonic Records,
Yeah.
and I record and produce bands in my studio that are affiliated with the label. We're not very big. We don't have much money, so what I can do is offer services. So usually in the way of production and recording and that kind of thing. Also, we like to release our friends and our bands under the same label as well. We figure that if we're going to put money in it, we may as well help other bands as well, not just finance one thing. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And is made up of a bunch of people from the record label, but this is in the formation of the label and kind of the studio stuff. So there's members from myself from Inhuman Remnants and Unholy Vendetta, Punishment. Ash is also from Unholy Vendetta, Somnium Nox, and Mezquine.
Yeah.
We also got Scotty from Terravoris, which is
Yeah.
a South band.
Yeah.
We also had Cal on the album, who's also from Terravoris. Jem and Daryl haven't really been in too many things beforehand. But Amasash, he's from Black Mountain and a few other bands. Um,
Brilliant. And all bands I know, all bands I've seen, and I have to say that it's a fantastic thing, the local scene. And what you're doing is really special because it no, I mean it sincerely because we are lovers of a genre that's not going to be stadium, right? It's always going to be grassroots at the, and if not a little higher, but it's always going to be underground or grassroots. And if you don't have people like yourself, we don't get brilliant albums like this.
yeah,
We don't.
thanks, man.
We have to not locally. Like I moved to Australia over 25 years ago, and I was used to an underground scene in London, and come here and it was like felt like there was a sort of a bubbling, seething cauldron here, and it really, particularly in Canberra, and it really because I used to go to things like Metal with the Brain and all that sort of stuff, and it would just go off. And everyone would
Yeah.
say, "Oh, Canberra, they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to metal." It's like, yeah, I think you don't know what you're talking about because
Yeah. You just
it.
say those boys got in the Music Hall of Fame?
Oh, I was so happy for them. I was so happy for them, man.
Yeah.
It came across my feed. I completely forgot it. Like they'd mentioned it to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll remember that." And then, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
they deserve it,
I,
man.
re-
How
I
long? How
remember
long,
I
mate?
remember like I'm originally a Bay boy, so I used to sneak out of home and travel to Canberra by myself and come to Metal for the Brain when I was like 14, 15 and
Yeah.
get get into that kind of stuff every year for like 5 years, man.
Oh
Some
man.
great shows.
Oh
The
mate.
the
Yeah.
prestige there is crazy. And then to to be around friends' bands that were playing on it, at it, and all that kind of stuff is amazing. I have close friends with a few of the boys who do the stuff, so it's good to see them getting recognized for all their hard work that they did for all those years
Well, they did,
in
man.
the industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like Joel, I mean, he's just around. I mean, Witch Skull is one of my favorite bands, full stop. And Joel and the boys, they know what they're doing, man. They're passionate. There's no, as we'll say with this album, right? So this album's Opus Centanus. Um, it's not. I mean, I was quite intrigued by this album because it. You look at this track list, you go, "Oh, there's not much going on, right?" And then you put it on, and it seems to go and go and go. Sometimes you put an album on and it fleets by too quickly, and you're like, "Oh yeah, whatever, chuck away."
yeah,
This one,
six
it was,
tracks.
yeah, but it really holds your attention for the six tracks. For listeners who haven't listened to it yet, I genuinely enjoyed the audio parts, the spoken word parts, the bits that create drama, yeah, and tension. And I
Yeah,
and I and I was like, I wasn't expecting that. So when it comes in, I'm like, oh, this she's just what I like. Like this is right up my alley, right?
yeah. It's
Um,
not very traditional for black metal people to do samples, but
no.
I'm an old school grinder, so I'm like samples. I got to have samples, otherwise I'm bored.
Like do it, mate. Like honestly, I wish people would cross over and do these things. Like Cathedral. It's that kind of, we've got to use the technology you have now. It's okay
Yeah,
to be old school. I'm an old school punker. So 3 minutes. It's all good. But when you've got the ability to create that kind of, oh, I haven't got a physical copy. Wish I had a physical. That kind of luscious soundscapes. Why wouldn't you? You know?
yeah.
Yeah, tricky to reproduce live. I'd probably get that. But
Mate, I've been working on the in ear rig and the AO for a couple of years now. That's why we haven't really toured too much besides the COVID factor.
mm,
We formed in the middle of COVID, but the live playback and trying to get that stuff right to be able to back it up as we release is probably one of the bigger reasons why we've kind of held off as long as we have, that and wanting the scene to get back into full swing so that we can, when we
yes.
tour, it's most financially effective. But the playback and that kind of stuff is crazy. As you know, there's not many people that are doing that kind of thing in the local scene. There's a few experts in like Melbourne and in Sydney, but like they're not really passing that info on, and so we've had to go down the full R&D self development, put
Yes.
on my DIY stuff and try and figure that out. But I've got it sorted now. We're definitely ramping up the touring going into next year. We've got two shows in December, 27th, 28th, one in Melbourne at the Bendigo, one in the Velvet Underground at Adelaide.
Ooh,
Pretty rad.
yeah.
Um, and then we should have a bunch more. We'll do a Canberra launch sometime
Please.
soon. I'll also do, we're going to be doing some private party setup stuff. So
Mm,
if you're interested in those kind of ones,
yes.
but we just go and jam and test our gear and do
Yeah.
run through stuff like that. If you're
Fantastic.
interested, I'll invite you to that as well.
Yeah, I'd
I'll hook you
love
up
to
with
be
a
there. Like honestly,
physical
because the
copy of
scene
the.
here, yeah, the scene here is so, and it's people like you. I really mean it. It's like, people that you pass in the street, you go, hey, hey, and then you put the album on, you go, "Damn, this is amazing. Is this produced in LA? Like, the
Thanks, man.
production on it
That's
is
massive.
solid, really solid. I mean,
Yeah.
you,
I did most
yeah.
of the recording and production, but I didn't do the mix and master. So I went to Gib from Gibbonez Music. He's a local mix masterer.
Mm,
He's great. His studio, he has a whole bunch of hardware gear. He's got that ear IQ. And he also let me kind of sit behind him and kind of like make sure that I was getting what I wanted out of it.
good.
Being physically present through that kind of process was like what I really wanted out of that. I'm a bit of a control freak, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? It's your art, it's your baby. Look, the thing about like big bands, how often do you hear big bands? I mean, Maiden said they hate the first album, right? the sound, yeah? How many times you hear that? They go, it went off, we had no control, we come back and it's not what we wanted to put out. You know, it's all right if you've got 25 billion pounds behind you, yeah? But
Yeah,
this is a lot of money and effort and labor for you. And I don't see that. I think that's a brilliant thing that you can put your fingerprint on all of the parts. Because when
yeah,
you
it's pretty
hear
cool.
it, you go, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, you know?
It's pretty damn close, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys from Alarum, and they're saying the same thing, you know, like just it's all studios. The hardest part of work is the studio work, you know,
Yeah, man.
because
It'll
it's the other
make or
member.
break a band.
Well, it's the other member of the band, isn't it? It's the unmentioned member of the band. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
it's that one that doesn't get the credit. It's the studio
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Mm,
And when you came to writing, because I mean, obviously, there's all these people from all these different bands coming
yeah,
along and working. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like you've been working together for years. Like when you put it on, it doesn't sound disjointed. It doesn't sound like there's someone want to go one way, but you can feel they're pulling another.
yeah.
How did you get that without?
So that's producing
Yeah.
and being able to talk to people and we call it auditioning, man. We audition ideas, we audition sounds. Like we just worked through it and made sure that people were happy with their performances, making sure infinite time at my house, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, of course. You're not paying for studio time, right? That's it. Yeah.
right. So, are you happy with this? What do you think we could do better? Do you want to try an idea? Do you want to try some different voices? Do you want to try things that kind of see what will like not work against it and stuff like that? So, it was great.
Yeah, because it's unique. Genuinely unique. And that's like there's a lot of bands in this country that do unique. You know, I love that about Australia. You know, like Neo Obliviscaris and things. They're unique, even though there's a sound out there like them. They're unique, and I think that's the case here with this album because I've always loved Ultimate Vendetta. Right, like
Yeah, yeah.
always. Yeah, yeah. As soon as the first time I saw them, I should say, it
Man,
was
thanks,
like
man.
it was.
Unholy Vendetta was one
Yeah.
of my favorite bands that I've ever been in. Working with Necrosabak and Adrian.
Yeah.
Those guys are brilliant musicians.
I wandered it,
And
yeah. I wandered into one of your gigs. It was you were supporting someone, I can't remember who it was, years ago. And there was a better than the I can't even remember the actual act. I remember the support act more. I went to say and bought all the
okay,
merch. It's
they're crazy
you're
because
crazy.
if that was more recent times, that would have been like Flesh God Apocalypse or At the Gates and the Haunted.
I did see you at the Gates and Haunted, and I thought that you would definitely be careful what I say out loud in front of people.
Yeah,
But I
because
liked
I
it.
don't
I loved it.
yeah, thanks, man. I had a great night that night. It's like meeting your childhood hero, right?
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I
I,
had the I had Anders walk up to me after my set and be like, "Man, that was amazing," and I was like, "Oh my God, Sanders, what do I
Yes.
do?"
Don't you love
Full
that?
fanboyed out, just and then he
Oh,
like into the back and introduced me to Ula, and I forget the
oh,
name of Hornet singer, and all the boys and like just good genuine people, mate.
man, that's
It was
it.
amazing.
And that's the
And
thing, isn't it? They're not up their own bums, man.
no,
They
they're
know
not.
where they're at. They know where they're at. Like I had a good old beer with what's his name from Witchery, and he's like
Yeah,
up
yeah,
there. I'm like, hello, you know, like it
yeah, yeah,
was just such a nice feeling because it was like the first time all those three bands in Canberra. What a lineup, right? Firstly,
yeah, man.
and not
Yeah,
having to travel to bloody Sydney for it.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Dougie. That's another hardworking dude in the scene, man.
Oh God, yes, man. He's
You
had
know,
some ups and downs. That poor bugger. Like, but
like,
he works hard, mate. He really
yeah,
works
he
hard.
does.
Yeah,
He
but
does.
He brought Venom
Genuine,
out, so I was
genuine.
like, yes, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh dear
and
me.
that
So
show was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Oh man, it was off the wall. I don't. All I remember is I drank too much, but then I think we all did, didn't we? Right? It was
Yeah, yeah. I definitely celebrated a lot after getting off the stage, mate. I'll tell you.
yeah, and it was like the old basement when it was all sticky floors, slightly smaller dance, mosh pit. It felt a
They
little bit
just
more
removed the
dank.
carpet, eh?
Yeah, that's they just moved the carpet.
And there was a little bit of glue left.
Yeah,
That was
that's it.
funny.
Because I was saying to Mick, like, where's all the carpet gone? Where's my bit of carpet? I would have bought it and take it back home.
Yeah.
I've stood at that carpet for many years. Could I have that bit of carpet, please? Ah, dear, dear, dear. So obviously, this is out now, and it's
Yep.
a lot of work, and I'm hoping that it really, sends you into a little bit me wants you to go out and do massive things, but a little bit wants you to stay Canberran. Like, like it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a bit jealous.
Um,
Like, don't.
Man, we're hoping it's well received. We should have a follow-up album to it within the next 8 months or so.
Oh my God,
Uh,
really?
well,
Uh-huh.
we finished recording in 2021, right? So
Yes. Wow.
we've been in the studio, myself, Daryl, and Amasash, and we've been recording a bunch, and it's same thing again, but more brutal. The
Fantastic.
ability to be able to write the orchestral parts is like where our skill levels changed. The sound that I'm getting and able to get at home before I take it to the mix mastering with Gib is crazy next level as well.
Wow.
So we're hoping it should be like tours, bang,
Oh,
bit more PR, maybe release a film clip, then bang, new album, bang. We should have a lot of content to come.
well, this is you are. It's like I was to say. Made some notes here actually to talk about it. I got so excited, Chang. But the harmonies and the orchestral pieces, you know, and I said it before, spiritual. I know it feels really organic. Sometimes when you hear this bit, some stuff music it can be quite forced. Oh, we better put something there because we've run out of ideas. This doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's two separate albums almost, but
Yeah,
beautifully coming together, you know?
yeah.
And
We try to do the orchestras as like a male choir,
yeah.
and the boys can sing, and so we kind of do that, and we do the like tunnel throat singing kind
Mm,
of stuff, and that's also adds to that effect, and trying to bring all the different elements. Everyone tells me I threw the whole sink at it. Well, I
I
kind
love
of
it.
did.
No, more. Add
Kind of
more.
did.
Do more.
Yeah, you
Like
did. Well, we definitely are a more is more kind of band, but trying to make things sit and then have the right piece go to the top and then
yes.
have the next thing rise. And then when I want all of it to rise at the same time, have that peak.
Yeah.
I'm almost not many people that are in an extreme metal band go slow. You
No.
know,
No.
the thing that makes all the stuff sound so cacophonic is that we build and there's slow parts, there's fast parts, there's things that dip out. The dynamic range in that album is crazy.
And you pick it up. If you've got an ear for this sort of thing, I do, and a lot of people do as well. They sit down and pick it up because it's the kind of album where I have to sit down in a darkened room to first listen
Yeah,
to it. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't be on the go because I wasn't catching things. It was
yeah,
lovely walking around doing things, but yeah, that's great. But as soon as I sat down and gave myself to it,
yeah,
um,
yeah. I
it's a
can't wait for the next album and be able to do Atmos, because I've prepped it for Atmos,
oh,
and I'm not promising that it's going to
ah,
happen, but I'm trying. I'm really trying.
oh,
Right. So we'll
yeah.
go to Melbourne and we'll get someone in Melbourne to help us out there. But man, having all that stuff in 3D, that'll just blow my mind.
It,
I've
God,
always,
can you
yeah,
imagine it? You wouldn't know where to be in the room. Like,
I'm super keen to play.
I bet you are. I bet you are. And before we go, I just want to say I love the art, by the way. I
Thanks,
absolutely
man.
love the art. I'm about to get a t-shirt because I was like, that is a
Nice.
cracker of a cover.
Yeah.
Uh,
Between Ben Wrigley's kind of 3D stuff and Wopsmead's kind of Eldritch horror
yes.
slash uh anti-Christian kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. Ben, I don't know if you know, He's been doing a bunch for like Parkway Drive and those kind of dudes.
Yes.
He did the Blade to Rest cover for like Shadow of Intent and that kind of
Wow.
thing. If you have a look at the album, you'll notice that like it's Satan's skull, but he's pieced back together with gold
Yes.
pieces, kind of like a Japanese kind of. I think it's kintsugi's what it's how
Kintsugi.
it's
That's it. Yes. Yeah, my wife was talking about it the other day.
and yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like the album, the Opus Satanis, is the opus for me, right? So
Yeah.
we wrote it for ourselves, and it's kind of like a I don't know, pull yourself back together, make yourself better out of the fragments from your life and that kind of thing. So you'll notice that some of the other pieces of art are like human skulls. So that's all
Yeah.
that represents all the human frailties. You'll
Brilliant.
notice that the other face of Satan is Kintsugi as well. But like you'll notice that there's like roses that are white that are covered in blood
Yeah.
and the blood kind of seeps in. And yeah, anyway, there's all that. And then you've got a giant Cthulhu as the Antichrist, which
Which I
is,
loved. I was
yeah,
like onto it like like it's like whoa,
yeah.
brilliant.
So we're kind of doing that too with the like we like horror stories, we like mythology,
Mm,
we like heaps of stuff. Like we're anti-theists, we're
mm,
anti-Abrahamic,
yeah,
but we're trying to mix it with different things that people can relate with. Like if you're gonna have cosmic horror, who better than to have a Lovecraftian?
Lovecraft. Exactly right.
You know
Exactly
what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah, yeah. It'd be mad not to. Yeah, it is the way it is. Hey, but I'm gonna wrap this up soon. But it's been fantastic talking with you. I really, genuinely, it blew me away.
thanks,
I
man.
listened to the stuff when he first released it. Well, back in night, is it
Yeah,
21? When that single, the
yeah.
first
20
single?
2022
Yeah,
was the Symphony S single,
yeah.
and we we were in the running for a competition with the Diablo stuff.
Oh, really?
Um, the samples from Diablo 4. So
Yeah,
we wanted to have it out with the release. So that's we dropped that one a little early. And then the other two, because we're all video game nerds as
yeah.
well. So there's heaps of different things. Anyway, yeah,
Brilliant.
2022. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's something I heard it, and I remember, and then of course it's so long ago. Life goes on. You forget.
yeah,
I listen to so much, and you do forget. You go, okay, that because it was only a single, a
yep,
couple of singles, and then when I saw the album launch, like stuff come through on my desk, I was like, yeah, this is right up my street. And I remember going back and listening, going to YouTube and watching it again, and going, oh
yeah.
yeah, I remember watching it on YouTube, but it first because it was Canberra, I thought, yeah, brilliant, right? So I'm really pleased. I'm really thankful again, all us local metalheads, um, who it doesn't. And I like to say this to the watchers: it doesn't matter whether you like black metal, death metal, thrash, whatever. You're going to get something out of this album. I think you will get something out of this album. The only people that aren't going to enjoy it are the people who like probably power metal and things like that, because it's not quite there. But the extreme metal, if you're into extreme metal, like we are, this is a whole new dawn of sound for me. Like it's beautiful, mate. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
man. That's huge.
I really
Um,
appreciate it. It's beautiful, and I would dare say it's probably one of the best albums of the year. So there you go.
yeah.
You heard
Thanks,
it from
man.
me.
That's massive, dude.
No,
I
pleasure, man.
appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. But anyway, I better wrap up and get on and do things. But hopefully, we'll see you on the road soon, and I hope that those album sales go flying out the door for you because you well deserve it, man. You really do.
Thanks, man.
Bye for
Legend.
now, man.